big with 2 G's. I'm going to repeat that. That's big with 2 G's.
So we back with another episode of the BiGG Umbrella Podcast. That's big with 2 G's. I'm going to repeat that. That's big with 2 G's, the BiGG Umbrella Podcast. And we got Chef Geoff Cole here. I'm going to let him introduce himself because that's what he's here for.
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing? I'm Chef Geoff. Most people call me Chef, entrepreneur, chef, dad, hustler. That's me.
Perfect. Man, so you really doing that big like out here. Are you from San Diego or where you from?
Nah, man.
Originally.
My family's Jamaican. I was born in Miami. I grew up in New York till I was about 16. Moved back to Florida, joined the military, but lived around the world. And ended up back in San Diego. So San Diego's actually, I've been here for 8 years. That's the longest I've been in one city at a time.
What were you doing in the military?
Man, I was a Navy cook. You know what I mean? So I was a cook, but it was a little different. I was a cook in the private jets. I first started off cooking for the general mess, cooking for everybody. Then I went to rescue swimmer school to be like almost like a flight attendant, private chef on private jets, Gulfstreams. There's only about 13 of us in the military, so that was a great experience.
And how long were you in the military for?
12 years, 6 months, so almost 13 years. 12, 6 months. So I mean, no, 12 years, 7 months, almost 13.
Like, well, let's get it right. Hold on, I still put it
every minute I get. I always round up to 13 though.
And what made you then want to stop pursuing the military? I
started getting an independent dollar. Started realizing most people join the military because you don't know what you want to do with your life. You know what I mean? 9 out of 10 people always say they join because they don't know what they want to do with their life. And I realized what I want to do with it 10, 11 years in. So, you know, people say, why you just stay and retire? Because that'll be 7 more years of my life. Right. I don't want to give up.
And now you wouldn't have been here if you would have still been on the military base taking in the jet.
It's a fact.
So what kind of inspired that even entrepreneur spirit? Was it even like with you growing up with your family, your mom, your dad? Did you see that early on, or what kind of inspired that?
Man, I never thought I'd be a business owner or entrepreneur. You know, never had no dreams of being one. But as where I'm at now, I realized I was born one. You know what I mean? I was born a risk taker. You know, if I'm gambling on a crap stable, I might, you know, put everything on one number. I'm gonna put it all on myself, and you can't teach that. You know, some people are born with that.
Right. And
now I take the structure I learned from the military and the hustle I got from, you know, growing up, you know, in a society I grew up in, and mix it all together. You know, that's what I got here now.
And actually, what was it like growing up in the society you grew up in?
Man, growing up in society is kind of crazy. You know, like my family was, you know, most of them was illegal immigrants from Jamaica. Still didn't have paperwork right. You know, just hustling. So, you know, I grew up in a trap house in New York. Everybody in my family, everybody in the house sold drugs. Nobody had a 9 to 5. So I never seen anybody go to work for 9 to 5 unless I went to visit my dad in the summertime. But my mom been in prison twice. You know, had shootouts. A lot of crazy things happened, you know, at a young age.
You got siblings?
Yeah, I got a lot, yeah.
What were you at on there? You like middle?
I was always like the middle child.
So with you being a middle child, did a lot of that, did your older siblings, did they kind of take you under their wing, or were you kind of like the one that took everybody else? I mean, especially with you being an entrepreneur.
You can say I'm the head of the family. You can say that.
And how did that even like establish? And did anybody else take that in a different way since they're older and it's like, wait, no, I'm the big brother, I'm the big sister?
I think, man, you know, after empowering people is accepting it. You know, a lot of people call themselves a boss, but don't know how to empower people. You know what I mean? So I'm always going to empower others. You know, a boss knows how to empower others and put money in other people's pockets. So I'm gonna do that for the family. I'm gonna do that for anybody else under me. So, you know, it's accepted. It's not something I talk about, but it's just something that's actually kind of known. I don't say I'm the head honcho. Everybody kind of know I kind of lead the pack. This is what I am, and I think that's what I'm here for.
Right. Definitely. So what even brought you, like I know you did the military, what actually brought you to what was actually your first restaurant?
My first restaurant was called Admirals by Chef Geoff Cole. It was in San Carlos, La Mesa area. You know, it was an all-white neighborhood. So that was 2016 I had that.
In an all-white neighborhood, how I'm sure that's a little different with you being black and Jamaican. How would that even like, How did that combine in
You
there?
know, I thought it was gonna be cool at first. Everybody said, "Oh, somebody with white customers, a white crowd." That's just a thing what people want. But I experienced a lot of racism, like on spot. Then you know, a lot of people say facism, but I experienced the real. You know, somebody come to our restaurant, looking at me, and said, "Oh wow, you have nigger food here."
Nigger food.
Yeah. Real,
and what is nigger food?
It was a shrimp and grits on the menu. And it's like, oh wow, they got nigger food here. Then like, you know, people will call and say, "Hey, can I eat there? I'm not black." You know? And then I had people vandalize, you know, I put a post about it today. People vandalize and break my window. People come in and say, "Hey, you know, keep doing your thing. I never seen a diverse business owner over here, but you got a taco shop and a nail salon in the same plaza as me, but you never seen a diverse business."
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, those are things that I went through. But, you know, it's all good. Being resilient and just keep pushing. What it is, man.
Yeah, I had no idea that you even had to go through stuff like that. I think I did see a little bit on your post. I think you said like they cut some type of
I had a van, a catering van in the back. They cut the gas line. I'm like, wow, why gas ain't staying? And realized it was a line cut. You know,
and then another thing, you had a fire somewhere.
Yeah, I was in Stockton, California, so I had a contract, and I was going back and forth with the last contract and a new contract that, you know, we was going back and forth on one of those contracts, and then to try, you know, out of the blue, what happens? 11 o'clock at night, the whole trailer explodes and it's on fire. You know, what a coincidence, huh?
Right.
At the same time, we're battling with each other,
and nobody was able to figure out like,
nobody. They just say, hey, it was a problem, and they just wrote it off.
So with all that diversity you got to come through with your life, how do you even manage? Because I know you got a lot on your plate. I mean, we're going to definitely hop into all the different business ventures you got. How do you even manage all this stuff on your plate? I know mental health that's one of the most important things. Like you really got to focus on, because that'll mess up your physical health, everything, more than anything.
Man, you know, I just always look and think it could be worse. You know what I mean? I take one thing at a time, and I take everything as a lesson. You know, every time I do something, I'm like, okay, I should have did like this. I should have been, you know, there's a time where, you know, I've been attacked or robbed, and I'm like, okay, maybe I should have security with me when I go places. You know, so every time something happens, I take it as a lesson learned, or I'll say, hey, I'm still alive here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like one time my car got stolen in front of my shop. I think it's about a homeless person. I don't know what it was, but, you know, one lesson. Don't keep your car running. Even though I have my keys in my pocket, don't keep your car running.
Oh, it was running?
Yeah, it was running.
Okay.
You know, I was like, you know, you keep it running, you run inside and drop off real quick,
out.
Like go back outside. Within, you know, 20 seconds, it was gone.
That fast.
Right? But then I'm like, man, I'm just happy my son was in the car. How many times you got your little man in the car, but you can see the car, so he's like, hey, kid, I'm running right here.
Right. I'll be right back.
I'm like, hey, if my little man was in the car, I don't know what I would have did.
Right.
And then I'm like, okay, cool. So let me take, you know, I take the good out of every situation.
Right.
So
instead of you seeing it, they took my car, it's like, at least my son wasn't in there when they took it.
You know what? I learned my lesson today, and not in another way.
Right.
I could have learned my lesson in the worst way than that. So.
How old is your son now?
He's 7.
Okay.
So he was like 5 when it happened.
Yeah. Man, I know being a parent, and now, I mean, how long have you been a business owner?
Oh man, 7 years.
And that's been what you starting in La Mesa first?
No, actually I started in Mira Mesa.
Okay.
I was doing farmers market. I had a little office in Mira Mesa.
Oh, you was really starting from the bottom.
Yeah, I started selling burgers in the corner. You know, at farmers market. Started one farmers market, then I had 5 going at a time. Now I started doing private chef work, then doing catering work. I had an office in Mira Mesa. Then I had an events-based center in Mira Mesa. Then I'm looking at a restaurant in San Carlos.
And I know you was here from, like you said, you came from the military. What brought you to this spot, the Chef SD?
It was an opportunity. I actually just I needed a space to serve meals for contracts I do. I do government contracts. That's my first money maker right there. So defense contractors. So we got a contract on the border feeding the detainees and the people who get captured at the border. So all the people that you see come across the border, that used to be my company actually feeding those guys. So I needed a kitchen. This place was closed, and I used the kitchen. After a while, I was like, hey man, let me just get the whole place. I rent the whole place out. Came with liquor license and everything else. So I'm like, okay, let me just open the top and see where it go. I never knew that it would get to where it's at right now.
I was just about to ask, like, when you opened this place, how long did it take for it to really get like, oh man, this is something that's really could be good for
It was
here?
popping the first time, but sometimes you don't know because a lot of times the first time is everybody's time to actually support you. It's just like as a kid, you have a basketball game or a football game, and all your family aunties go be there your first time.
Right.
But in the fifth game, ain't nobody gonna be there.
Right.
You by yourself.
Exactly.
So I'm like, okay, I got the grand opening, it's out the way, but then it continues to be a vibe.
How did you end up getting like I went along your page, and how did you end up getting all the artists to come out here and support you?
Man, it's crazy. So before I opened this club, I was like a bottle boy. I used to go to clubs all the time.
Wow, man, you really
pop bottles all the time. And I built relationships off of being a customer. And then I wanted to start, then artists were in town. I'm like, hey man, how about I have these guys come over for dinner before they go to the place? Started knowing 1 and 2. And when they come, I do something a little different.
And that was dinner here?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like DJ Envy was a relationship I knew from Troy Ave, and I hung out with them in Vegas, so I kind of knew them. DJ Envy was my first artist here. But I do something a lot different than most promoters and stuff like that. Promoters, they usually, when the artists come, they give them their bag, they give them their money, they do your job and go. When they come, I sit there, I hang out with them. I'm with them the entire time.
So they feel that hospitality.
Yeah, so whatever they need, whatever they want some females, they want a yacht, they want a drink, whatever they want, I take care of them, I make sure they're good. So I build a relationship with them. And now, one person tells the other person, and now I got everybody's in my pocket. So every time somebody's in town, they hit me up.
How did you even develop a relationship where you could get a yacht like off a whim? Like, yo, I need a yacht. I need this.
It's weird relationships. Like, my buddy who when I started my grind back in the day, he ended up buying a yacht. And he was like, it holds like 25 people. I pay for the services, but he said, hey man, anytime you need it, let me know. Just pay for the gas. So when you're in business, you start getting relationships and knowing, who does what. And it works out.
How'd you end up getting so smart in business that you was able to start so many different ventures and make all these different connections? Did you take a class? Was it YouTube? Was it do it myself? Like, how'd you even end up getting so invested in business?
Man, really, man, just want to grow high and build an empire. You gotta know where you want to be at. I know I ain't want to be mom and pop where I'm actually working every day. I ain't want to work for myself. I mean, it's kind of sound weird, but I ain't want to work for myself. A lot of people have small businesses, and they're working for themselves. They're doing an accountant, they're doing the labor, they're doing the dishwashing, they're doing everything. But I'm like, hey, I'll take no pay, and I'll pay somebody to do what I was gonna do, and just start branching and just try to see how it could be like worldwide. So now I'm in 6 cities around the country. By doing that, really just trusting other people to do what I know how to do.
What other cities? And that's as far as you in 6 different cities with this business or your other businesses?
My other businesses, so my defense contracting company. So I got another spot in San Diego, in Point Loma area. I got a spot in Alaska. I got a spot in Indianapolis, South Dakota, Detroit, and Atlanta.
You're really moving.
Yeah. That's my defense contracting company called Admiral's Experience.
And how'd you get it? I mean, that obviously probably came from you being in the military.
Not really, man. It's just learning about government contracts and hustling, and then scoring a contract. So government contracts mainly been my money making for a while. So I'm making that money, that guaranteed money that was able to fund my hobbies. Like restaurants are hobbies, music, record label, those are hobbies. Those things are not guaranteed money. So my defense contract is for certain that's going to come in and pay the bills.
And then, so with you now, how you kind of touched on with getting a record, like kind of starting like a record label. How did that even come about?
Man, ever since I was younger, man, I always wanted to be that Dame Dash. That Diddy, like, man, Russell Simmons, like, how do I be that? How do you be that guy? There's no school. In America, they say, hey, it's a blueprint to tell you everything you want to do in life, right? If you want to be a doctor, do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and become a doctor.
Right.
If I want to be the next CEO of Bad Boy Entertainment, how do you do that?
Right. There's no plan for you.
But as the more money you get, the more access you have to people. And then you start talking to people, they give you the blueprint and say, do ABC, and possibly you can get D and E. So that's how it was working.
You have any artists, and the artists you do have under this label, is this just a San Diego thing, or this is like?
I got artists around the place, man. Like I manage Troy Ave. You heard Troy Ave?
Yeah.
So I manage Troy Ave.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. That's my right hand right there. It's more of a partnership. I have artists in Louisville, Kentucky, Louis Mo. Got G-Rax here. Got another few artists. So, I got another project I'm coming out with too, like almost like a DJ Khaled type. Now I'm hosting the album with a lot of celebrities on there. So, got a few things happening.
That's, man, you really like doing it. And then you also got a nonprofit.
No, I got no nonprofit.
I thought I saw that. Maybe I fucked up on that one.
Yeah.
Okay, then that was my fuck
Everything
up
I
on
do
that.
is for profit.
Oh, see, that's like, I think I want to touch on that because it's like, I know people how they want to start businesses and things like that. It's like, how do you tend to be so successful with it?
I work hard. It's crazy. I try to give the blueprints to a lot of people, and I found out, man, at the end of the day, everybody want this thing called passive income. They say ain't no really thing. You really got to work hard. You got to put the work in. Everybody's like, hey, man, I just want to do this and just collect money. Like, how?
How's that gonna happen?
You have to put the work in. I'll show you how to put the work in, and then people lose interest. You know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, I'm showing you I'm gonna grind, I'm gonna keep getting it. So really you gotta put the work in and get it, man. Ain't no shortcuts to success.
There we go. That sounds real good, honestly. Are you, as far as I know, are you one of the only people that's open till 4 a.m.?
From when I started, I know now I'm hearing a few other places that's open at 4.
Yeah. How has that been for you? Does it really stay cracking all the way to 4 a.m.?
It usually cracks about 3:30 in the morning, I ain't know it's gonna be what it is, but we got to stamp with it. As people come, good time.
I noticed this wall that you got here. What even brought you to make this wall you got up here?
I had to get with somebody who was redesigning the place, and I was like, hey man, my place is really inspired by hip hop, and I love hip hop music. And I love culinary. So, chefs and hip hop. So that's what inspiration is all around. So you get pretty much a hip hop history when you come into this place.
Yeah. When I saw that, I was like, man, that's amazing. And like I said, obviously it was wrong for what I thought it was from, but I was like, I thought that was from that movie. And that's why you got all these like legends on here and stuff like that. So, but nah, that wasn't the case. Definitely. I actually had a question about, is there any San Diego artists you're trying to get on the record label you have out here?
I do have one San Diego artist. He's incarcerated right now, B3 Glizzy. He's one of my artists, but
oh wow,
yeah, I signed him, but we was on tour. Something happened. But I do have a few other people I'm working with right now. Not signing, but I just I want to put the work in. Let's just go hustle and let's do it. We got Set Again Keith, we got Yabby. These guys do their own thing, but I like working with them. We got G-Rax, my son. He got a lot of heat that's coming out soon.
Oh, G-Rax is your son?
Yeah.
Okay, how old is he?
He's 17.
And how long he been doing his music thing?
Well, about 2 years or so. He been about 2 or 3 years he been rapping for, and he just been developing and been getting real good.
And what have you feel like you've been doing to kind of level him up, or have you just set him and let him do his own thing?
Well, he got his own studio. I built a studio for him. So he has his own studio. I'm introducing him. He doesn't have a budget on most of the stuff he does. He got music videos and production time, and I'm introducing him to everybody he needs to be introduced to. So most celebrities, a lot of kids won't be able to see them, and he's getting thrown right at them. Yeah.
Did you ever want to do music yourself?
I always want to be like over the music, So I never want to. I'm not a very musical person. I never really had the beat to dance. That's not me.
Right.
So I always want to see myself at the Dame Dash or the Russell Simmons.
So I kind of want to circle back to like your childhood. What kept you out the streets and actually wanted to continue like to be an entrepreneur, I guess? Or maybe if it wasn't, like you said, you was born into it. So what kind of kept you out of the streets?
I never I was in the streets, but it's like you could be in the streets but not in the streets. And a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people be like, "Oh, I'm from the streets." Yeah, but you don't have to do everything in the street. Like I did street stuff. I had a shootout when I was 16, not because I'm a street nigga, because I was surviving. You know what I mean? So it's like a lot of times you do things because you're surviving. A lot of times you do things because you don't know. You're scared. You just don't know. You need brotherhood. You ain't have a dad, or you had nobody show you nothing. So I always did a lot of things different. I used to be, my mom was sitting on my porch all the time, in Brooklyn, New York, and I would see a person 60 years old on the corner drinking or carry their grocery bags and trying to figure out how to go pay their rent. I'm like, man, I bet if I asked that person what they would have did at my age, this not what they wanted. They didn't want to be 60, 70 years old trying to figure out how to go pay rent. I'm like, I don't see any. I look past the mean mug and the smile. I'm like, hey, look, I know for a fact you're not in the hood because you want to be in the hood. None of us is in the hood because we want to be in the hood.
Yeah.
My mom ain't want to be in the hood, but we were in the hood because it was poverty. So I'm like, man, how can I like not do that? You know what I'm saying? So
and you figuring it out.
Yeah.
So with you, like you said, like not having your pops around, how did that kind of molded you? You feel like that kind of hindered you? Or you feel like that made you kind of go for harder?
Well, my pops was kind of around. He was in Florida, so you know, it was a weird relationship. You know what I mean? We got better, we're better now, but I'm blessed to have, you know, all sides of families, but most of the time I was in New York with my mom growing up as a kid. And, you know, mom was just a little rougher, you know what I mean? Mom was telling you, like, you know, make sure you got your gun on you when you leave the house every day because you don't know who's going to, you know, it's going to be a problem or not. You know what I mean? Make sure, like, you know, I couldn't come home if I had a fight, I was crying, shit fucking tough me up, go take care of that. You know, moms is different. You know, moms told me show me how to hustle and just like, you know, hey, be a hustler. You know, so, you know, pops is, you know, if I go spend a summertime with pops in the summer, he's like, he won't make it a job and, you know, not curse and not do stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? So.
And that's funny because that's like a complete different what you actually hear from somebody else. They be like, nah, my pops was like this and my mom was like this.
Yeah.
What kind of even made your mom like tough like that?
They surviving. You know what I mean? Come to the States when she's like 16 years old. You know, being around drug dealers and, you know what I mean, stuff like that. And, you know, being in the streets. And then, you know, you're a kid with a kid, you know, you still kind of got a street mentality.
Right. Man, you had that, and like you were just saying, that's a whole lot to come through and actually to now elevate to where you are today. Like that's a success within itself.
Yeah, facts.
So another thing I was actually asking, you got a clothing line now.
Yeah, I got a clothing line, yeah.
Yeah, so touch a little bit on that.
Man, pandemic proof, man. KOKgear.com. I mean, kingofthekitchengear.com. The first I wanted to have something where chefs could actually promote being a chef without being there, without being in the kitchen. You know, king of the kitchen, stuff like that. And then I came out with this thing that Cash More called Pandemic Proof. You know, when you was in the house the whole time, you got to figure out a way to make money, you know, over the pandemic. You know, think about it. During the pandemic, man, everything I preached to people to try to be great, you couldn't do it. I'm like, man, just go get it. You know, you go be a, you know, think about it, I had a catering company. I'm in the food service business and I couldn't cater.
Right, because the pandemic with COVID, like you need to be masked up and gloves.
But you couldn't do you could have more than 20 people in the room at one time. You remember that?
Yeah.
And my money is from feeding hundreds of people at a time.
Exactly.
So I'm like, you know, figure out how to become pandemic proof and try to figure out how to make money above that. And you know, it put me in the corner. And you're gonna make the most money you make when you broke. I found that out. The brokest people make the most money because when your back is against the wall, you're gonna figure it out. When your rent's due, you go like, oh shit, what I'm gonna do? You come up with creative ways to make money.
At what point did you like now kind of touching on that? What point did you feel like you was at the brokest point in your life?
Man, it was crazy. I think one of the brokest times in my life, man, it was my first restaurant, man. I remember I didn't have no money, man. I had no money coming in. I had no money to pay my employees.
And you had a restaurant at this point.
I didn't know where the next dollar was coming from. It's Christmas time.
Ooh, and you got a family.
My car repoed. I'm at my sister's house. I got nowhere to stay.
Yeah.
Car's repossessed. I'm driving a company van every day. Nobody got to know. You know what I mean? Because I got to walk with my chest out, chin up. Right? But that was the hardest time. I kept pushing. And I think it was the hardest thing because I finally got approved for some bad loan to pay my employees for the holidays. But I thought my assistant had quit on me because, you know, she did no call, no show. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's almost a week after Christmas. Yeah, it's right before New Year's. And you ain't nobody getting paid yet. I think everybody's supposed to get paid on the 22nd And I was able to pay them like on the 28th or 29th.
Dang, the fact that you still remember these days, I was like, that was
right,
for real,
December.
for real.
And I remember the day I was able to get the money, I'm waiting for the wire to come in. I go to my I contact my assistant, her mom, like, hey, have you heard from her? And she said, man, please go check up on her. I go to her house and her door's cracked open, and it was a dead body. She was dead. And I didn't even get time to mourn because during the time I find a dead body, calling the cops and tell her come get her, she died from an overdose.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like 23 years old, 24.
Oh, wow.
So I'm calling the ambulance and stuff like that. At the same time, people are asking me if the check's ready.
Oh, man,
right?
That's like...
And the money was available, and I had to go get everybody paid at the same time. So I didn't have time to mourn because the money came in. I was able to pay them and take care of some bills. You know, I'm at a time where like everything could fall off. Like I lost everything. I'm trying to get it, and I was able to get a couple of dollars to keep us going. And that shit happened right there. So I didn't get time to mourn on that. So I think that's one of the biggest brokest times I had, man. But you know, I kept pushing, and shit turned around. And
that's crazy that like the time they told you to go check on her, and the time you actually went to go check on her, that's what you found there. That's like that'd be overbearing. Like you said, I mean, I'm sure you've been through a whole lot coming up.
Yeah.
So now, like with your mom kind of instilling that in you, do you kind of take on that same approach with your son?
My son is different. You know, I got 3 boys, and really, I just want them to be better than who I am now.
Mm.
Be a better man than I am, and be greater. You know what I'm saying? Just know what you want to do, and I'm happy that they have choices. You know, they can come up, they go to college, they can get a job, or they could take over one of the family businesses.
Do you kind of want your kids to take over what you got, or you kind of want them to do their own thing?
I just want them to be great.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And I would love it if they didn't have to work for nobody.
Right.
You know what I mean? Take one of the businesses I created and keep going with it.
Mm.
But, you know, they got their own destiny and they got their own person, so I ain't gonna force nothing on them.
Of course.
They got one thing I asked, man, just finish high school, and that's good.
Say that one more time?
One thing I asked, finish high school, you know, and that's it.
Was you was obviously able to finish high school.
Oh yeah, man. I'm fortunate, you know, I finished high school. I got my associates in food service management. I got a bachelor's degree in professional aeronautics with minor in aviation safety and management.
Mm.
They got a master's degree in logistics supply chain management.
All right. You know, he got all this, wrapped them all up.
Going to hustling, it ain't been easy.
So with you going to college, did you feel like now what you did, you needed college, or you could have surpassed that and still been where you at?
You know, it's like weird. Like I didn't need it, but I need it. Because going through college, you meet people, you learn little things here and there. Like you didn't know you can make money by doing this. Like you get the light bulb in certain aspects. So it's not the whole time, but there's points. Like right now, my whole company's built off of what I learned in my accounting class. I learned how to use Excel spreadsheet.
Mm.
I hated that class, but it made me like, hey, you can't fuck this up. If you learn how to use Excel spreadsheet, everything will come in perfectly fine. Mm-hmm. So I'm still using all that stuff from Excel spreadsheet to actually like generate revenue now. Mm. And I learned I met people, learn how to be disciplined and how to finish through things by going to college.
Right. With you coming up, did you ever think about how you wanted to, was there any chance of you ever pursuing sports?
Yeah, but I was never good at it.
Mm. And what was that you even tried?
Man, you know, with basketball, right? I used to love basketball, but I wasted all my time just dunking. And I realized, like, one good thing I was at was jumping high. Uh-huh. Then I realized, like, you can't get to the hole if you can't dribble properly.
Right, because you got to get past.
You got to get past everybody to dunk it.
Uh-huh.
And then I found out as I got older, I go to high school now. I'm like, oh, you're not tall. You know what I mean?
See, but you are. I mean, I guess in high school you was that type.
No, you see the basketball players, they tall.
6'7", 6'8".
Yeah, like, you know, I'm a point guard in the basketball field.
Exactly.
So now, like, if I had learned the fundamentals, like everybody trying to tell me, learn how to shoot, learn how to dribble, I probably could have been a star. Mm. You know what I mean? But I thought I was a big man.
Now you a star in your own lane, though.
Yeah.
So is your dad, he's still alive?
Yeah, he's
So
still alive.
Like now going back, like you got a good, like you said, you built a good relationship with your dad. Like how proud are your parents of that you even building this empire?
Yeah, my family's very proud of me, you know what I'm saying? So
Especially with you not even having to pursue the same thing that they had to do. It's like you now took this on a different lane.
Yeah. It's just a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure because, like, you know what? If I fall, everybody falls. You know what I mean? So that's the hard part. But, it works out right.
See, and that's what I was even thinking, like how you got so much pressure since you, like you said, like you was the middle brother, but you took over everything. It's like, how do you not break under that pressure? I mean, I guess because you got so much weighing on you, it's like, I can't break.
You know what? A lot of people, I learned this when I was in the Navy. The chief told me, it's like, when you stop feeling pressure, you'll fail. He was like, I'm good. I don't need to practice. When I used to cook for admirals and senators and dignitaries, I used to always be nervous. Like, man, don't F this up. Don't F this up. And he said, that's a feeling you need to keep in you. Because when you stop having that feeling, you think you're better than it all, that's when you go mess up easily. So every day I have that feeling like, man, I can't F this up.
Kind of keep on your toes.
I got over 100 people that families they feed off of things I create.
Yeah.
Plus, I have my family as well. That I'm also giving them a piece of the pie.
Yeah.
So it's think about like 130 people that depends on the movements I make.
Right. So how is it that are you still cooking now?
Now I cook. I call myself a retired chef. I don't cook though.
What made you I guess now since you got so much else going on, maybe do you cook at home?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what? I actually love cooking. It's like one of my favorite hobbies. I love cooking. Love creating dope dishes, but I don't actually ever put myself in a position where I have to cook because I'm taking away from other people that need me. Like if I put myself on a schedule to cook, I might have somebody in Indianapolis who need my time, and I can't give them that time because I'm over here focusing on the small things.
Yeah.
You got to really think big. So I put everybody in a position under me to run those positions. I just oversee it. I step back and I trust everybody to do their job.
How is it that you feel, I guess more so trust these business moves that you're making? It's like, okay, I know I want to do it with this person. What does it take for somebody I guess to earn your trust as far as business partners wise?
Well, the fact sheet, the resume, and what they've done behind, So I usually only hire one person, the head honcho, and let them hire everybody else.
So you kind of do, I'm hiring this person. I'm a trust and believe that you know what you're doing.
Yeah. That's it.
So that's good. You're not really used to doing micromanaging. You kind of want to, I set the table for you. You guys are now handling it.
If I see something wrong, I'm going to go to that person I talk to. Hey, what's going on over here? And they give me explanation.
So with you, are you kind of when the boss come around and kind of oh shit, everybody we gotta get ready?
I hear that a lot, you know what I mean? But I don't try to make anything personal. I really just like, hey, how you doing? Let's keep it moving. I don't want you to feel no way about nothing.
See, because even when I came from an interview, I was already okay, this one a little different. It's this. I'm not 100% on this one. It's feel a little different. So
why I feel a different way? Why you not 100%?
No. Oh. I was 100%. Just the setup and everything, the vibe and everything was just different. It was just the people that I've been with. This was just a different vibe. It was more of a it kind of come more prepared for it kind of deal. It was something like that. But no, it wasn't feeling like I was nervous for anything like that. It was really an honor that you even gave us your time, because time you can't get back. And like I was telling you earlier, I was just surprised that you even hopped on this, because we really not doing much. Obviously we got stuff in the works and we believe in what we're doing. So maybe that was the reason why you got on here, but it was just it's an honor that you even on here.
Yeah, why not, man? I already said it's a grind. And, I look at things different. You take your time and your investments, your investment, your equipment and everything else. Look, I ain't too good to go ahead and just, do what I can do it right now, long as the time fit, let's go ahead and do it.
Now, with you doing all this stuff, how you keep yourself in fit? Now, first we went on mental health. Now we're talking about physical. Yeah,
I'm still working on that. I slacked off from going to the gym since the pandemic, but I'm gonna get back on it.
With the pandemic, I know you said that kind of hindered your business, but like you said, the brokest people make you go harder. What did the pandemic kind of make you kind of go harder? Make you think of a different business plan as far as what you got to do since now?
Well, I got lucky during the pandemic. Because I got the pandemic, my contract is almost politics now, right? So Joe Biden took over, right, during the pandemic.
Right.
So on the borders, I was feeding 50 people a day. 150 meals a day, right?
Right.
Because Trump will fly them out as soon as they get in. You wouldn't waste no time with the illegal immigrants coming over. Borders were tight. Now when Biden come in, it went from feeding 50 people to feeding 3,000 to 4,000 people a day.
So did that help you or?
Oh, it helped.
Right.
Because like shit, now I'm like money coming in like drug money. I'm like, whoa, I get paid for everybody who gets fed. I'm like, whoa, this is crazy.
Mm.
So it actually like helped out a whole lot because of that.
And you guys were making all the meals here.
Yeah.
What type of meals were you making for them?
Burritos, apples, and water. Nothing crazy.
Yeah. What's your favorite meal here at Chef SD?
The wings, we got the best wings in the city. I don't know. Wings are the best.
Yeah. And did that recipe come from something you made, or that was like something that just off a whim that the chef made?
I had my boy Chef Mike. I told him, I said, yo, man, he was executive chef at the time. I said, hey, yo, I want something simple, easy, that tastes good, that no other cook could come in here and mess it up. I wanted something simple like wings. And they played around with the wings, and it's perfected.
How many of them like test runs you have to go like, this ain't right. Maybe we knew all of this.
It was spot on the first time, man. Like I'm not real critical because food is really based on a certain palate. Just because it's my favorite dish, somebody else may not like that.
Right.
Everybody knows that.
What's your favorite kind of dish to make?
Italian.
Italian. And you Jamaican, but this your favorite is Italian.
I lived in Italy for 2 years.
Oh, okay.
I used to go out there cooking in restaurants too.
Did you live in Italy with the military, or you just live out there just off a whim?
Military.
Okay. With you also, you got a lot on your plate. Like, I'm sure you got a few select women maybe coming your way. Like, how you handle all this with that coming your way?
Man,
and even to separate, like, okay, this is not what's for me. This may be for me. I'm sure they're looking for you right now.
Oh, man, crazy. At first I indulged in it a lot, man. I was getting girls throwing at me left and right. A lot. And I got to a point, I was like, man, you know what? I can't be messing with girls that an average dude could touch. You know what I mean? So perception is crazy. Like, I think it was a podcast, or maybe it was like, hey, man, you get judged by the type of girl you have, this type of how your pockets look. How the thing right next to it's an investment. A girl put in your arm, man, depending on how she look, that perception of of how your pocket's looking. The ugliest dude got the baddest girl, well put together, that everybody can't touch. So I learned how to slim. At first it was kind of crazy. First I was taking all that came to me. And I was like, let me stop.
So I guess like from what you just said, would it be more so based off of this one you're gonna have by your side is based off of looks, or it's gonna be like really what she get down to? Because them looks gonna fade at some point unless you switch them out.
You can have a pretty girl, you know what I mean? But you got the well put together, and she know how to hold herself with certain conversations, certain dinner dates. You know what I mean? You get the whole package.
Yeah.
It's hard to find a package, but they out there.
So I was just about to say, how have you been able to find that package?
Man, it's tough. You know what I mean? But you see when you date and then you start seeing who they are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What type of example you feel like you setting for your kids? I mean, obviously with you being a business owner, what type of example you feel like you setting for them to kind of follow and thrive from?
Oh, the hard work and controlling the most expensive thing you have in this world, called time.
And like I said, I thank you for giving us this, because like I said, there's no way you getting it back. Yeah.
So if you can control time, man, you're a very powerful person. You can control it, but you can delegate time. A lot of people can't do that. A lot of people, what we do, we sell our time to make ends meet. All my employees, their time is being sold right now. I'm buying their time.
So what's the best way that you do to actually preserve your time and spend it where you need to be spending it?
Delegation. You know what I mean? So I'm never employed. I don't work for myself. Everybody else works for me. And then I can just move around what I need to do. My biggest thing is build relationships. The bigger relationships I have is the bigger my pockets can go.
And I'm sure you got, like you said, a whole bunch of relationships, so your pockets is definitely growing. What type of support did you get like out here in San Diego? Like after now, like you said, your grand opening was good and everything. Like after that, do you feel like it's still you getting that same love that you got from kind of that grand opening?
Oh man, the love is crazy because I got to think about it because of this place is almost being like a place of being a staple in the city. Every week somebody else knows about who I am.
Mm.
Brandon, you know what I mean? It's like every week somebody knows the place. And when they find out it's, you know, it's veteran black owned, it's more deeper. So like, you know, the popularity grows week by week.
Mm-hmm. With you being a black business owner, has it been able, obviously early on, like you have to come through with them doing all that stuff to your business. Like now with you coming up here, has it been harder with you being a black business owner? Do you feel like you still provided the same opportunities as everybody else?
The only hard part is the black folks. Black folks, they feel like I owe them.
And that's crazy. Like
it's people like that, you know. A lot offers like some black folks, they feel like, you know, they're old and like, hey, because I'm one of them, I gotta make sure they're good. But they don't understand, like, you know,
this is a business.
It's a business and real estate costs money.
Right. So it's like the people, like, I get the people who use like, I'm doing this for, I'm putting this on and showing you this platform. They come at you and be like, hey man, how come I can't get in for free? Or how come I can't get a deal? And that's like, them is the people who really supposed to be supporting you.
I know, man. And it is what it is. You know, nobody wants to be in line. Nobody wants to pay. Just, I don't know.
Mm. Is there anything, while I still got you on here, is there anything else that you wanted to get off?
Nah, man, you know, like one of the biggest things that I do love the city, how the city, you know, have my back and allow me to stay in business, man.
Mm.
It's great. You know, it's a lot of, there's always hate, but it's a lot of good things that come with a lot of people that's around. And I couldn't be where I'm at right now. It was for the close people pushing me, telling me I could keep on doing it.
Who was some of those closest people pushing you?
Oh, man, my cousin, my good brother, Brian, you know, a lot of my mom, you know, close people, my sister, and they just say, hey, man, you got it.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because when you're going to being a business owner, man, they're struggling, and it's just trying to make ends meet. Like, am I smart or am I crazy?
Mm.
Am I stupid or smart?
Right.
You know, you just don't know because you ain't eating good, you ain't sleeping good, you don't got money for a haircut. And you're like, man, you know, am I like guy who wants to be a rapper who's going for his dreams?
Mm.
You know, you just don't know.
So at this point, do you feel like you said, are you stupid or are you smart?
I think I'm really smart now, you know, like,
yeah.
I'm like, man, I already got to where I'm at, and I still got kinks I can work out to be better, but I'm grateful that I got where I'm at.
Definitely. And I'm grateful to even see that you're here and the business that you put up. So now, like, that's definitely something big out here for the city. So we coming back. We got another episode of the BiGG Umbrella Podcast. That's big with 2 G's. It's a BiGG Umbrella Podcast, and it's a wrap. Right. I appreciate you for coming on, man.
Oh, man, no problem,
Thank you, bro.
You're welcome.